Hey there guys, how's it going? The day of Hubble bubble reckoning is finally here. About 2.5 months back or so, I posted a video issuing a bit of a challenge to you guys where I provided some data with the option for you to use your own as well if you wish on the Bubble Nebula. And the challenge was, how close to the Hubble image can you actually process that data? So I had to go live on that video, just saved it out and uploaded it to Instagram using the hashtag Hubble Bubble Challenge, and I asked you guys to do the same if you wanted to take part potentially in a future video. Well, it's no longer potentially, the video is here. Let's dive into it and take a look together. So I want to say thank you, by the way, immediately to everybody who took part in this. There's a bunch of submissions here that we can go through. What I'm going to be basically doing in this is just trying to offer a very basic run through of each one. I'll try my best to read people's notes on them and that kind of thing, but also then I think I'll offer a little bit of critique here and there wherever I think it's you know, noteworthy or needed rather, should I say. So let's dive straight into it with the first one right here from E. Endrace. I hope I'm getting your name correct there, from Belgium. They've done actually quite a nice job overall here. So we're punching right into a crop on the data. I think for me, my favorite part of this image is their overall use of color and the fact that they've stuck to the Hubble idea, you know, of leaving those stars magenta, etc. But in terms of critique, I think there is an issue going on with this image where a lot of the structure and fine detail kind of thing has ended up sort of merging into one. It's an odd effect, and I don't know exactly what's gone on, so I can't exactly tip on how to fix it in this one. But overall, I like the amount of saturation used. I like the amount of sharpening used. It certainly doesn't look over sharpened or anything like that. Star profiles are nice, star colors are nice. It's just a little bit of a shame about that kind of blending that's happened. But yeah, overall, very solid effort. Well done, and thank you for submitting. So next up is Seven Skies Astro. I recognize this tag. This is my friend Rob. You may have seen him actually in a couple of my previous astro adventure videos, you know, where we've gone to shows and stuff. So if you watch this, Rob, I hope you're doing really well, buddy. And well done, by the way. I have to say, my first thing upon noting this image, I'll just read his take on things in a moment, but I really like the amount of sharpening that is applied to this. It looks deliberate, it looks precise, it's not overdone. Do you know what I mean? It's certainly not overdone. So what he says is, "Hi all, this is my take on Luke's challenge. Great data and done normal stars. Second image is cropped more. I did not use the original Hubble." So he's done this without using the original Hubble image as a reference as well. So I can't really, I was going to mention the colors, but now you know, I've read that, I can't really note that, I guess, because you haven't used the reference. So if you've gone off on your own on this one, Rob, I'd like to say really well done, mate, to be honest. I like it. I think you've taken the data, you know, a long way. You've done a good job. I'll have to follow everybody back. If I'm not following anybody at this point, I'll have to go through after and just make sure I tidy that up as well. But yeah, thank you very much indeed for sending yours in, Rob. You've done a great job. Next up, we've got Myriad Astro. Here is my submission for the Hubble Bubble Challenge from good old pal Luke. That's awesome, mate. The first image is his own captured data, then processed by me in pixinsight. Second image is the actual Hubble telescope captured image. Nice one. So I had a lot of fun with the project, learned some new tricks following Luke's amazing tutorials. Oh, thank you very much indeed, mate. Top marks then, instantly. No, no, really though, I do think you've done a great job here. One thing my eye is drawn to immediately, I want to say first off, by the way, your use of color is lovely on this. So well done there, but something along the way, maybe you can enlighten me in the comments if you watch this, or something has gone wrong with the stars, because the brighter ones I'm noting I've got little mirrored extras next to them, you know what I mean? Quite an odd one actually, that. But yeah, you've done a really nice job. I like the use of color in some of the stars. To be, you know, truly accurate to the Hubble image, it'd have been nice to see them a bit purple, but I'm being really nitpicky To be honest, mate, I think you've done a great job there. I like the tones. I like the colours. Yeah, well done. It's pretty darn faithful. Good stuff. So next up, we have F-Stop Ireland. So Space Bubble, aka the Bubble Nebula. A little bit of a read up on it right there. Almost 18 hours of data. So this is their own data they've taken. That's really cool to see. Over 3 weeks in the back garden to make this his longest project so far. Well, congratulations immediately on doing your longest project. That's really astounding stuff. Hubble's image of the bubble is the fourth photo as well for comparison. So we'll just skip through these and take a little bit of a look. Really punched in nicely. I don't know what scope they've used for this, but yeah, it's gone in nice. There's a lot of detail to see. So here's the Hubble image by the looks for reference. Cracking stuff. I will say, if you want some feedback, if you don't, then just turn me off now. For me, I think on this most zoomed in image, it looks like there's been just a touch too much processing on the core. It's not actually too bad over here on these pillars and things like that in the background, but in the core it just looks like a little bit overworked for my tastes, I would say. So take from that what you will, but overall I really like your use of color. I think it's a very dynamic image. There's a lot going on, do you know what I mean? That's for sure. And you've achieved to me what looks like a sense of depth to the image, which I love to see. Do you know what I mean? It looks almost three-dimensional. I get the feeling that this is closer to me. This is a little bit further away. This is, you know, further still, perhaps, like a gigantic arc, and the bubbles in the middle of it all. It has that kind of feel to me, and yeah, I think you've done a great job there. So I want to say well done to you. Well done indeed. So next up, we've got Asbury Planet astroboy.com. I hope I've just got your name right there, sir. Well done. Yeah, I think it's very bright is what I would say. I don't know if that's just my monitor, but here's the it looks like this is the Hubble for reference as the second image. So obviously this image is a lot brighter than the Hubble one, and if you want some feedback on this, I would say perhaps a little too much processing on the core and around these sharp edges, the chicken wing or whatever the heck it is right there. It definitely looks like a chicken wing, by the way, to me. But yeah, overall, a nice effort. I do want to say this as well, I can't really knock anybody too hard because I don't think many people image at practically 3 meters of focal length to get shots so punched in as this. So by extension, people tend not to process data that's punched in so far as well. So I like your work. I like your colors. There's a lot of green in there going on, which is pretty cool. It maybe would have been nice to see a little bit more of that red going on as well to bring some of those yellows back under control in terms of tonal differences. But yeah, overall, well done. It's no easy thing going after these things. Next up, we've got Yakumiska. I hope I've got your name right. I probably will butcher people's names during this one, so apologies in advance, but not my data. I figured I would give Luca Matico's Hubble Bubble Challenge a try. I used the data Luke provided for this challenge and processed the data in pixinsight. I've never processed monochrome data before. Wow. So this is my first attempt and it turned out really good. It did indeed, mate. Well done. Your first attempt. Crikey. The first image is the one I processed. The second is from Hubble. And the third is the uncropped version I processed before registering it to the Hubble image. Nice one. Then he goes through his workflow. That's really cool. And blimey, mate. Yeah. If this is your first go, genuinely, at processing mono data, you've done fantastically well. You'll note his use of color is extremely deliberate. If you want me to be nitpicky and offer you a little bit of extra advice on this one, I would say I can't tell whether this, it just looks like you've used a crop perhaps, so maybe I'm getting the wrong end of the stick with this, but it could have stood just a tiny bit more sharpening work. I think, overall, which is probably present on your main master image, I realise, but Instagram may have compressed it a little bit. But yeah, overall, your use of colours is very, very faithful to the Hubble image. We've got these reds coming through in that background, that misty green going on around these pillars, frosted with yellow tips. Look at those, yeah. I mean, just a really good job all around. Really, really good job. Well done. Yakomiska 217. Next up, we've got one from jdat.astro. Quite the write-up on this one. I hope you don't mind if I'll just skim quickly on this. My submission for Luke's Hubble Bubble Challenge. Didn't use a Hubble image as a reference. Okay, so we'll note that down. Just took a guess at how the NASA release image was processed and tried to replicate. Okay, so you've taken creative liberty with this one, which is absolutely fine. You know, crikey, I do that all the time, so I can't knock anybody for doing that. Okay, so let's just see. The starless one is pretty nice on this as well. But I think my favorite is the stars image. I think you've done well with the data provided, and can't knock you too much, to be honest, mate. Given that you haven't used the Hubble as reference, I can't really judge on the colours. I do like the fact, however, that you've left in quite a lot of greens in there. It's something, and I used to do it myself all the time. I'd be like, ooh, green, get rid of all of it. But I think it adds something to the overall image. Do you know what I mean? I like the appearance of it. So yeah, well done. It certainly doesn't look over processed in the car or anything like that. Yeah, good stuff, and a very nice submission there, JDat. Next up, we have Astro Meathead. I love that name, mate. I didn't quite nail this one. I instinctively took out too much green and have way too much blue in the background. Okay. At Luca Matico issued a challenge to use his data or mine, but I don't have anything close to this. That's fair enough, mate. And process it as close as we could to the image from the Hubble Space Telescope. First one is from mine, from Luke's data, and the second is Hubble's. Excellent. So we can go back and forth and compare these. I was thinking about adding diffraction spikes, but the Photoshop plugin is expensive. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Thank you for the shout out as well there, Astro Meathead. That's if nothing else, you've got the best name so far by a mile. So let's just take a look. So here's the Hubble image, and here's Astro Meathead's shot. I really like your use of color overall. I feel like it could have stood around the bubble. The background's beautiful. I feel like around the bubble and around this central star, just looking at the Hubble one right there, a touch more blue in there to make it go from being a touch more green, to go from being kind of blue as it is to a more teal color. Just in those regions, I think it would have stood that. But overall, mate, I think you've done a really nice job. If you want some feedback on detail and such around the core, this is definitely called the chicken wing, by the way. I don't know why that came to me, but and around these pillars, I think it looks to me just a tiny bit too processed. But you know, I'm viewing it on a 43-inch screen. You might have edited this on a smaller screen or something like that, or sat at a different distance from your screen. So I can't say too much on that. But yeah, you've done a pretty darn faithful job overall. It's just very small tweaks. So well done. Well done, well done, well done. Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to submit that. Gady Astro. It's part of the Hubble Bubble Challenge by Luco, a fellow YouTuber. Oh, nice. Here's my 15-minute edit of his Bubble Nebula. 15 minutes. That's cracking stuff, mate. Trying to make it look like the Hubble Space Telescope photo. Well, crikey, yeah, for 15 minutes. Really well done, mate, to be honest. Really well done. I don't know what made me feel like it looked brighter than the original Hubble image, but he's got the Hubble shot here, and it looks actually quite similar in terms of overall brightness. He's got a lot of those red tones coming through in that back wall, which is really nice to see. And also, I want to commend you on your use of sharpening as well. Definitely not overdone. I like it, you know what I mean? I think the only slightly less good thing about this image is the star shape. Like the profiles of the stars seem to have been altered very slightly somehow. I'm not sure what could have done that. Perhaps sharpening software. I don't know what you used. But yeah, other than that, mate, I think it's nice. You can see like these greens around here in the Hubble image around the base of it actually present. Those greens leading into those blues and the teal where the two mix, etc. If I was to offer one little extra thing as well, I would say that the core of this could have stood maybe a mask and then a very slight drawback on overall brightness to make it sort of match core of the Hubble shot. But again, I'm being super duper duper nitpicky, and I don't mean anything by it. I'm just, you know, I've been nitpicky of everybody else's images, so I've got to at least be consistent, you know what I mean? So next up, let's take a look at C Pro. I think Pro is how you pronounce your name. I'm so sorry if I'm getting it wrong. Don't read French though, unfortunately. But yes, I like your shot. I can tell that you've used like a conscious control of color in this, as the fact that the background there, which is a bit purple on Hubble's image, is desaturated. I do believe you've done that deliberately, as like a choice during processing, which I don't mind. It's not exactly on the challenge, but I can't, I can't say too much as to beyond that, you know what I mean? The background has ended up a little bit desaturated along with it, so I don't know how the masking was applied to get rid of those regions, the color in them, while preserving the rest. I like the amount of sharpening in the core. I think that looks good from my perspective right here. I think maybe a little too much sharpening in these smaller regions down here. Whereas a happy accident from doing that. It looks like this region got sharpened more than this, the chicken wing over here, so it's almost pushed it into the background. You know, like misting out things. I'm talking to you about painting techniques here, but misting out things in the background to make them look further away is kind of what's happened here, just by way of his processing technique. Pretty cool. I would say a very good effort at some honestly quite a challenge as it happens. So well done to you, sir. Thank you very much indeed for taking part. Next up, we have interstellar photography. Bubble Nebula decided to dive into the Hubble Bubble Challenge, fun project where astrophotographers are tasked with processing raw data to recreate the iconic look of the Hubble images. Okay, so they're fully on board by the sounds with the challenge. It looks like they are. Anyway, with the use of their the data right here, since the Bubble Nebula isn't visible from Melbourne, so we've got an Australian participant here. That's awesome. I used data kindly provided by Luke. You're more than welcome. Thank you very much indeed for the mention. Couldn't resist incorporating the stars captured by the Hubble Space Telescope. Okay, I did wonder about the diffraction spikes right there. Swipe to see the original versus my first creation. Big thanks to Luke. My pleasure, mate. My pleasure. I'm glad to see you've had some fun with this. You know what? I like it. I like the idea that you've gone with the melding, the taking of those Hubble spikes from the stars and bobbed them in. Why not? Do you know what I mean? Who says you couldn't? So good on you for thinking outside of the box there. I like your use of color. Overall, I think if you want some feedback, here it is. I think it's a little bit over sharpened in the core. Just a little bit over here. Doesn't look too bad, you know what I mean? It looks like it's on the edge of just getting too much done. But yeah, not bad at all. And maybe a little bit too much like denoise effect of some kind applied to this background over here. It's lost some of its texture. But again, this is being extremely nitpicky. You have done a good job, and it's interesting to see as well that you've noted the back side of the bubble over there, around from the away from the main feature, is an entirely different color to the rest of the bubble. So you know you've noted that, you've you know taken care of that in processing. That's cool to see. Well done. Yeah, I like it. Well done. Next up, we've got Tardy Bob Astrophotography. I like that name too. This was a fun challenge. Thanks, Luke. Some nice entertainment while I wait for the Arizona monsoon clouds to clear out. Nice one. So this is from Bob. Yeah, you've done a good job there, Bob. To be honest, I don't think it's over or under sharpened. The control of noise is really nice as well. The control of nice is really noise. I'm going crazy. I like the color of your stars. I like the preservation of texture in the background that you've used here. If I want to be really nitpicky, I would have maybe liked to have seen just a touch more reds coming through in these background regions, but you know, that's being really, 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 really picky. So Bob, well done. You have done a good job there, mate, and tip my hat to you. Good sir. Nice one. So we've got on here from Stefan. I think it looks like this one may have been hit with some form of like topaz or something by chance. It just looks a little bit textured almost, which is the first thing that did stand out to me, which you know, I'm sorry to say, because the image overall is very pleasant, but that kind of struck me a little bit, how it's all at the same level of texture too. So around here, here, and in the core, which makes it all look effectively like it's on the same plane, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So my feedback to you, Stefan, if you're looking for feedback, you have done a good job, by the way. I do want to make that clear. Everybody who's taken part so far has done a good job. It's no easy challenge. Isn't processing data like this. But my feedback to you would be perhaps to just dial it back a little bit on whatever sharpening routine you've used. Don't be afraid to see how far you can take it naturally as well, because it was pretty sharp data if you have used my own stuff there as well. So again, though, great job and well done. Hey, who we got here? Pat Prokop, Pat of Savannah. Hope you're doing well there, Pat, and having some good weather. My capture of the Bubble Nebula, the full view. So he's taken this with his own Edge HD11. That's really cool to see. A Player 1 Poseidon Mono, I'm guessing 4nm Antlia HA, S2 and O3. He says not nearly enough data, 18 minutes of HA, wow. 40 minutes of S2, 34 minutes of Oxygen 3, stacked in DSS, processed in pixinsight, polished in Photoshop. Okay, Pat. Well, bloody hell, mate. So to say you've done, I mean, what? We're not like 2 hours total data? Not even really, but bloody hell. You've done really well, mate. I like what you've done. I like the direction you've taken it. I like the use of your overall, your crop there as well, what we're looking at, how it's framed. Yeah, good stuff. You've captured a lot of detail. I know how hard that was to capture, you know, the first time around, and to say you've taken. I mean, let's be honest. The HA does most of the heavy lifting in terms of detail, at least in my estimations for most of this stuff. S2 as well a bit, but you've taken that 18 minutes to the very max without overdoing it. So yeah. Nice stuff, Pat, to be honest. Well done there, mate. Well done. I like your use of colours. This is really nice. Astro Acer Iraq. I don't know if I've got that wrong. So sorry, mate. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for the challenge and all your tutorial videos. They've really helped with the learning process. Oh, mate, thank you very much indeed for that. That's really kind. I like it. You've done really well. I don't think it's over-sharpened, under-sharpened, not too noisy. Nice use of colour. Seems to be deliberate use of colour too, which is always really good to see. You know, I don't even mind so much if colours are, you know, taken in a completely different direction. As long as someone's done it deliberately, I think is the key thing, because then it's done its entire purpose. The challenge has served as a tool through which to get people thinking and processing slightly differently, which I like. I really like. So well done, StarShrink. I hope I've got your name correct, and I'm sorry if I haven't. But yeah, you've done a great job there, mate. Good stuff. This is another really nice one, I will say. Jeff Van. Thank you, Luke, for providing the SHO raw data. You're more than welcome, mate. Thank you for taking part. I think you've done a really nice job overall there. Again, it's another one that we've seen so far that's not been taken kind of too far with the processing. And this is all just in my opinion, by the way. But yeah, not taking too far with the sharpening, not taking too far with the noise reduction. Overall, very nice use of colors. My feedback, if you want, would be perhaps just a tiny tad bit more red, especially in these background regions over here would have been nice for me. And maybe taking this side of the bubble, which is very blue, slightly more towards teal, and then this side over here just a little bit even more lightened up would have been nice. But again, that's being really nitpicky. I want to say well done. You know, that's the bottom line. Well done. You've done a really good job. Next up, we have a really nice submission here as well from Wombat Clay. Well done again. Look at this. I think if I want to offer one little bit on this, because there really isn't much to say negative, I want to feel like there's maybe just a tiny tad too much noise reduction, which has made the background look just that touch palette. You know, like pastel rather would be the correct word. But man, again, that's major nitpick. I think your sharpening though is on point. That looks really nice overall. Great job. Very deliberate use of colors. I like this color on the side of the bubble right there, and I like that this side is different too. We did see one really good example of that where it had been brought out totally different and looked even more separated, but this is a really good shot. So yeah, well done. Got another stonker here. Everyday PNW Live, Pacific Northwest, I'm guessing, using Luke's data processed in pixinsight. Awesome stuff. Let me think now for feedback. Yeah, I like that you've got that red in the background there. I can see it coming through. I feel like you've done that deliberately, which is great to see. I like the differential in color between that greener side and this more blue side over here. This side perhaps could have been pushed a touch more towards teal if you wanted to match the Hubble image. But yeah, nice, really nice overall. Not too sharpened, you know, not too noise reduced. Yeah, overall it's got a good feel to it. It's remained that three-dimensional feel. It's retained that, which is nice to see. It looks like it's got a background and a foreground going on. So yeah, well done to you. Next up, we got another submission, I think, from Stefan. I think you may have submitted one before. This one, it looks well, it's missing the stars. Obviously, that's a deliberate thing, but it looks like something's been taken out as well along with it. I don't know if you guys can make out like the missing ringed edges around here. It looks like there's some degree of artifacting that's happened, which is a bit unfortunate. But the rest of the image, I like that you've left deliberately this magenta in there. It looks like, you know, it's all been done on purpose. But I think it's just been taken, for my taste, that step too far. But that's just me. Like I say, all the same, I like the shot for what it is, and I imagine it looks a lot better when it's not blown up on a 43-inch screen from, what, 2 feet away. So yeah, well done all the same, and thank you for taking part. Bortle 10. This is quite a bright submission, I would say. So if you want my immediate feedback, it would be, don't be afraid to rein in that black point just a bit. I'm not saying, you know, make the background black or anything like that, but definitely dropping it in a bit would make the rest of these bright spots pop out all the more. And I feel like maybe there's been the use of some masking selectively on the brighter regions, which has helped to bring those to the forwards, but at the cost of blushing them out just a little bit maybe. But overall, again, like I say, I'm being really nitpicky. I think you've done a good job there, Bortle 10. This is my attempt at recreating Hubble Galaxy Nebula with data from Luca Matico. I didn't check out his video on how he processed this, but used my own methods. Okay, fair enough, mate. Yeah. So I will say though, you're sharpening. You've done well there. You haven't taken it too far or anything, I don't think. So I can see this one here from Astronomy with Claire. I'm doing it no favors by blowing it up on a big screen so close. I think she's presented this for viewing more in like mobile, how people view Instagram. To be honest, I'm the only weirdo doing it from desktop right now. So let's read about what Claire said. The Bubble Nebula, Altair 70 quad. So she's done this with a small, relatively small refractor. So this is a hell of a target to go after for something like that. Incredible stuff with a 26M, 3 nanometer filters, HA 2 hours, O3 2 hours, Sulfur 2 1 hour, Ball 5 Sky, and Gatwick light pollution. Well, that's helping nobody, but yeah. Great stuff. Yeah, like I say, I wish I could shrink this down a little bit, Claire, because I feel like I'm being really unfair by viewing it at this size, but I can still see the use of colours has been very deliberate. I like the fact you've left some green in there. You've definitely taken this your own way, which is nice to see. And yeah, it looks as well like your star size is really well under control too. Well done. Thank you very much indeed for taking your own data on this as well and having a go. That's an interesting take on things. Stellar Pete is up next. Not perfect, but fairly close. Managed to resist the urge to add diffraction spikes. Resist that urge. You've got this. Stellar Pete. Oh, crikey, mate. That is very close. I think that's... Yeah, I want to say that's the closest one we've had so far. That's really, really darn nice. The... I'm at a bit of a loss maybe on feedback to give here, because clearly I think you've spent some time on this and it shows. Do you know what I mean? Blimey. Well, if I play Spot the Difference, then if you'll allow me, Stellar Pete. For me, as a final touch, what I might have done is range masked the very brightest segments. So this bit right here, and just back down just a tiny little bit to bring the face of that structure or whatever it is slightly more back down, and maybe, if it was possible, right on these tips, just upped the yellows, if you like, a little bit more by adding a touch more green into those. But bloody hell, am I being nitpicky right now? I think you've done an absolutely cracking job with that one. So really well done, really well done on that one. This is from Pixel Rainy. I'm seeing on the thing Spiny Rainer and Christian Rush. Okay, we had perfect seeing and we were imaging the bubble. I'm sorry, by the way, if I got your names wrong. Imaging the Bubble Nebula with M52. Later, I saw the Hubble Bubble Challenge. Okay, so this is our data. Taken with a 140mm tech, so that's a really nice refractor. Focal length of 1020mm and a G3 16200 CCD. So that's Moravian Instruments. Really, you know, a nice bit of kit, to be honest, but pretty big pixels. So I imagine it was fairly hard to get their the sampling up to this. Yeah, 1.22 arcseconds per pixel. Thanks to 3 times drizzle and BlurXTerminator, I could also tease out some details. Thanks to Luke for the great idea. Ryan from Switzerland. Well, Damn. 140mm refractor, you've done a really, really good job there. There's a heck of a lot of details going on. What can I say? You know what I mean? You've clearly picked up the fact that, you know, the opposite side of the bubble is a different color to the rest, which I like to see. You've got that red sort of just starting to be making its presence felt in the background over there, which is it's also fantastic. To say you've done this with a 140mm refractor and a CCD, which I hope you don't mind me saying is reasonably old tech at this point. Cracking stuff. Really well done. So yeah, great stuff. I think colors wise, you've got it darned close. I think it looks like you've taken the data as far as you can. Just about. I can see how you've tried to control noise, but it's still just breaking down that little bit, which I don't mind. But it also it makes me appreciate that any pointers I might give in terms of color usage and stuff like that, it might just be met with, I would have loved to, but I've taken this data as far as I can. I understand that completely. The bottom line is really well done. Respect for getting such a nice shot from what is ultimately a fairly big refractor, but still, it's not a great long Schmidt Cassegrain. 6 inches under. Okay, the Hubble bubble. If I could talk, the Hubble bubble. This is not my data. It was a fun editing exercise. I'm glad you thought it was fun. Provided by Luke. Thanks, Luke. Hey, you're more than welcome, mate. Thank you for taking part. And thanks everybody for taking part in this one as well. It's been fun to look at them and go through. You've done a great job. Honestly, mate, you've done a really nice job with this. I like it. I certainly think my favorite feature of your processing on this is the fact that the amount of sharpening you've applied to stars, the details in the image is spot on for me. I think it's just about spot on, and the control of noise is very nice as well. So yeah, overall, cracking stuff. We've had some really, really nice submissions today. It's been interesting to go through them and see just how differently people do things as well. This next one is by Astronomy by George. And I think he's definitely taken this in his own direction, which, respect, that's absolutely fine. My pointers, if you want them, George, if you're having fun, by the way, don't take anything I'm saying on board at all. I would have changed the black point a little bit darker over here, and I can see that you're using something that looks generative in nature for sharpening, almost topazy, that kind of thing. Or if you use BlurXTerminator on stretched data, that can also hallucinate details like has happened here. So that's something in future to be avoided if you want my feedback. If not, then more power to you. You know what I mean? I think you have done nice. You've clearly made a lot of conscious choices on your use of color and where to apply it in this shot. So that's nice to see. Well done, George. Pat of Savannah. So this is a really close one in now from Pat. We saw his previous shot, didn't we? Edge HD11. Yeah, so this is the same day, but I think it's just more of a tighter crop now. Cracking stuff, Pat. Yeah, I think you can see even better on this now just how well he's processed that core as well. It fits with the rest of the image. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't look out of place with the rest of it, which is really nice, which you can sometimes see if something's over processed. It would look out of place, but this doesn't. Every feature in the image fits. It looks like his use of color and contrast has been very deliberate, and yeah, well done, Pat. Well done, mate. It's a good one. This is mine. This is just a screenshot in it from pixinsight. Yeah, I didn't do too bad job. Yeah, I'll not dwell on my own stuff. There it is. Alec Moores. I'm assuming this is Spanish, so I cannot translate, but well, the Hubble bubble challenge. Alec, let's see, mate. So I like your use of sharpening. I definitely don't think you've taken the sharpening too far. From in saying that, for most of the image, your sharpening is spot on. There is a little bit too much going on in the background. For me, I would say it looks like this is almost a little bit artifacted in nature. I'm being very picky, by the way. I think you have done a great job overall. In terms of colours, the things I would change, if you want to know, would be just a touch more green in and around here in this stuff where it's kind of yellow, orange. I think in this region right here, you could definitely fit in a touch more green lift into it to make it match more closer to the Hubble image, and maybe a little bit more red in that background. But yeah, overall, mate, well done. You're you know what you're doing. So yeah, fantastic stuff. I think we have reached the end. So that's taken 41 minutes. Crikey. Well, thank you very much indeed to anybody who took part in the Hubble Bubble Challenge. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. I hope you've enjoyed doing this one with me. I really look forward to doing another one perhaps in the future if you guys enjoyed this. I hope you didn't mind my critiques. I tried to be as fair as I possibly could to everybody, because I wouldn't feel right, you know, critiquing one person and then not saying anything to everybody else or something like that. So yeah, listen, I've taken up more than enough of your time, Hunter, so I'll shut up at that and just say thank you again for taking part. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. I'm open to suggestions. Let me know what you'd like to see, and yeah, that's about it. Clear skies.